guys, so today I'm doing a reaction video because YouTube served me up a video in my feed that I could not scroll past, and it's basically an American Eritrean opens a hotel restaurant in Rwanda. And I had to look at this because I'm a British person who's recently taken over a restaurant slash Airbnb in Kigali. So we're in the same city trying to do the same thing, and I really want to see what his experience is and compare it to my own. So let's get into it. Turn the volume up a bit. Okay, skip past the intro. It's a long intro. Where's the video?
Hello, my name is Danny Halamariam. I'm Eritrean, but born in the U.S., Virginia, Fairfax. But I live in North Carolina most of my whole life. But I moved to Rwanda in 2021, and I've been living here for 3 years. Almost marked me 4 in October. Right?
2021. Sorry, when was this video made? So it's a slightly older video. The video's from a year ago.
Anyway, this is Amen Boutique. We opened up in September 2022. I forgot what day it was, but it was September 2022. So let's come inside.
Oh, it's got a lot of parking. I envy that because we have got no parking. We thought it was really good when they paved our road, but then they didn't put any parking spaces on the road, and people used to park on the road, but now you can't park on the road. So we're very short on parking space.
This is the Amen Boutique logo sign.
Oh, so the black and white is Imigongo, which is traditional Rwandan artwork. On the right, it's got Heineken. Now, a lot of the beer places, there's two. There's Skol and Brelewa, and they will come and they will give you signposts. They will pay for the signpost for your hotel or restaurant. But the trade-off there is that you have to have the beer brand huge on the side of the sign. And sometimes the beer branding is so big that you just think it's an advert for beer, and you don't actually realize that it's a restaurant because, you know, the sign for the restaurant is kind of eclipsed by the beer. So yeah, no, we paid for our own sign, but I totally understand why you would accept it because it's a free sign.
Yep. And yeah, it's a beautiful sign. We sponsored by Heineken, a dining room restaurant. With our orange, yeah, appreciate it.
That's nice. It's all nice and like wood. It reminds me of Camellia Coffee House. It's got sort of a really nice wooden look.
Thank you so much. Yes, we're just a high class level 100, and this is our flat screen TV. People can watch football or play YouTube music and gathering together, anything they want. Watch Netflix too.
And you guys have done a lot of updates, right?
Yeah, this is new.
It's really difficult because I can't hear anything that the person behind the camera is asking him. They haven't got a mic on, or I don't know what. I assume they're filming on a phone, but the phone isn't picking it up for some reason.
We have this.
I need to cough.
Wood thing, so they can have their own privacy talk and do whatever they want to do. I just mind my business.
Even the TVs.
And the TVs too. And this is our fine blue chair and table. People relax, enjoy it.
I like the sofas. I wonder where they got those from. I assume they might have been imported because it's really hard to find furniture. It's hard to find everything, really. So a lot of restaurants will be importing things.
Y'all should, all Eritreans, all Americans, I don't care. All
those chairs, I'd be surprised if they're made here.
For the global pull up.
Got some more Imigongo in the background, which is lovely. I've literally just bought some Imigongo from a friend. I asked her to bring some over because we're going to put it in the Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And I've also got a big gold Imigongo on our wall. Yeah, it's just amazing artwork. It looks good on anything.
We got hotel rooms, everything. We got a pool.
This is a restaurant and hotel.
Exactly. And we got a pool table too.
Oh, that's nice. We don't have room for a pool table, but that is nice.
As well.
Yep. and just hang out with
And
friends,
something else
everything.
that's a new addition. Can you tell us what this is?
Yeah,
Oh, those are amazing. I'd love those. You press the button and it lets the staff know that there's somebody at the table. But then our place is really small. We've got about 10 tables. So, it's not that difficult. Our staff walk around and they should be seeing that people need things. But those are very cool.
this is like for calling the waiters to come. They could call. You could take orders, and you can click the button for drinks and pay your bill.
The only thing is, I think that they might be battery operated, and again that relies on staff remembering to check and to change the batteries. Although I guess they last for a really long time.
And then my waiters will come to you and take care of you.
Instead of trying to flag them down.
Exactly. Or not screaming to save your breath. This is the bar area. We got it's the only liquor we have.
Again, I'm really envious of this. Not just his parking, but the size of his bar. Like, we have a very small little cozy bar, but it's hard to find enough places to display the bottles.
All cocktail.
Yeah, what kind of drinks you guys
We got cocktail, alcohol, liquors, beers, sodas, juice, everything. You name, milkshake, everything. You just come and chill out. If you're a big coffee fan, we got all the coffee flavors for you. We got cafe latte, macchiato, everything. So, yeah, this is the
Very nice big kitchen.
This is the kitchen right here. It's my kitchen staff, people. We got a lot of goodies.
And who is this?
This is Gracian.
Is he the
Gracian.
chef?
No, he's a cook leader.
Oh,
Emmy. This is our kind of chef. This is our good best cooker chef. Him too. They're both the best.
Kitchen manager, maybe?
This is Emmy.
this is
Great
the
cook.
chef.
Well, he can make anything. He can make anything you
Do
want.
speak English?
Yes, he speaks English. What
A
you
little bit. Ah, okay. How long have you been working here?
6 months.
Huh? Six months?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Where did you come from? Are you from Rwanda?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you have experience here in Rwanda?
Yes, I know it.
Where did you work before? Like in hotels or?
Primera. Must have.
Yeah, you do tend to find this. It's quite hard sometimes to interview people. I guess it's the language barrier, but also there's a sort of a very cultural reserve about talking to people. And so you're trying to interview somebody, trying to get a bit of information out of them, and you generally get met by kind of like one-word answers. I think it's probably just shyness, to be honest, and the language barrier.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is my best cook chef right here. And
what's in here?
this is the VIP. This is VIP. This is A. Well, keep it low, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is our VIP room right here.
I'm digging the cushions. I like the cushions. One of the things we've got in the garden is bean bags. So Heineken gave us a bunch of bean bags, and they've been in the shed for years. Like, they never really came out. I'd not seen them before. I didn't even know we had them until I took over the restaurant. And since I've taken it over, we're using them all the time. So we've just got a projector screen. So we're projecting sort of films and things. And now we've got these big bean bags, and I want to get some more of them because they're brilliant. People just love sitting on them. And I sat in one last night and I almost couldn't get out again. I was like, nope, that's it, I'm sleeping in the garden now. I love big floofy cushions and things. Those look really neatly arranged. I wonder if they stay that way during the evening.
You can have
They're nice.
parties. Y'all want to be lit, and you can have meetings, weddings, like engagement party.
And there's AC in here.
Yeah. If you get in the summertime.
That's very rare to see air conditioning, but then he's American Eritrean, so Americans really do go in for the air conditioning, but it's not usual to see that.
In August, it's extremely hot in August, because August.
We're in July at the moment. We're in the middle of the long dry season, and it has been hot. We had somebody book the other day, and they came for a meal. And they specifically asked for the fire pit, so we lit it for them. But I'm like thinking, it's like 40 degrees and you want a fire pit? But I mean, it's difficult because I mean, it looks so nice. The fire pit is gorgeous, but it was so hot. I was thinking, but it did kind of work because it cools down a bit in the evening. So yeah, it was all right.
You need to turn that AC on. Show them that AC. Show them in August you need that AC. By June, July, you don't need it. If you're like
Open the window for fresh air.
exactly. But if you're like it's San Diego weather. In June, July, I feel like San Diego weather. So you don't need it's not extremely hot. August is the extremely hot weather. So
And then also that is for
that's for mosquitoes comes in nighttime. Just mosquitoes come at night, so be
Yeah, mosquitoes are a constant battle, and I think they hide in our bamboo during the daytime and come out at night. We do have problems with mosquitoes. We've tried everything. We have these little coils that you burn. You can buy them from Patel's or Sharma's, and they're little mosquito coils, and they burn, and they're really effective. We've also got little bottles of mosquito spray, but they're expensive, you know, and people are using it every night, so it's really expensive. So we tend to go with the incense.
careful. We upgrade. We got some liquid mosquito. If y'all need it, we got you upgraded. We got liquid, so nothing can bite you. So yeah, this is the reception right here.
Oh, this is the hotel area.
Nobody's here, but I take care of it most of the time. If a client come, if not, they go to the bar. So we're gonna climb up the steps. Yeah, you're gonna have a taste.
Angle the camera upwards. Just like, let's follow his butt up the stairs. Sorry. Angle the camera upwards.
When I first came to Rwanda with my mom had this room.
Yeah.
And I had that room.
So you guys ready? You ready?
Yes,
Let's
sure.
count it. Let's get 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, sure. Beautiful rooms.
Let's get it.
Look at
So
that.
this is the room right here.
Look at this.
Nice. Spacious.
This is like a queen size
Yeah, good bed.
bed with all this lovely closet space right here. You can put as much clothes as you want. And don't worry, my laundry people, they can wash your clothes and everything. That's included too. They wash your clothes, stuff like that. So if you want to wash it,
Is it extra? Or if
I'm actually-
something and they want their
it's cheap. It's like probably like 3,000 francs or 5,000 francs. So it means like
Yeah, we have laundry bags. We have 3 Airbnbs. We've got 2 upstairs apartments and a little miniature wooden house that has 2 beds in it. And they're all self-contained, so they've also got a bathroom or shower. One's got a bath, 2 have got showers, and yeah, they've got little cooking areas or a kitchen as well. So they're completely self-contained. And we do laundry. I think it's like 500 a piece or 5,000 for a full bag of laundry, just because it covers electricity, water, washing powder and staffing. So sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. Oh, sorry. I don't know. It's the long dry season gets really dusty, and so just waking up with a really itchy nose today. So sorry about that. Back to the video.
a few dollars. Yeah. Sorry. I don't mean to say it's free. I mean, it's my bad. Let me take it back. But yeah, but it's a few bucks.
Yeah,
So
it's worth it.
it's worth it. And this is the bed right here. Let me show you the bathroom. We got this built in 2022. New shower.
That's nice. If we ever make enough money, I'd like to make all of our showers rainfall showers because they're beautiful. I love them. Who doesn't like a rainfall shower, you know? But yeah, we need to make some money first.
Hot water. What's that thing called? The top
The water heater.
water heater.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the word. If you don't turn it on, you're gonna take a freezing shower. So yeah. But don't worry, I'll help you all out if you guys come to Eamon Boutique.
Don't help me out in the shower. Don't help me out in the shower. No, that's not what he meant, but
So don't worry, don't stress out.
And then your own balcony. Look at how spacious it is.
oh, I wonder where they are. I wonder if we can tell where they are from the view.
Yes, ma'am. So this is the
Ours have got balconies looking out over the golf course. So the two upstairs ones do. The little mini house doesn't have a view, but the two upstairs have this beautiful view of the golf course.
balcony right here. The views. Hey guys, what will you rate? 1 through 10. What will you rate this? I just want to know. Tell me the.
I think it's sort of a 7. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful view. 7 or 8. It's a beautiful, beautiful view over the top, but you've got a lot of corrugated iron. But it's clean. It looks nice. Yeah. So yeah, 8. 8. That looks really good. I mean, it's difficult not to find a good view in Kigali. I think my house is one of the only houses in the entire country that doesn't have a beautiful view. So yeah, I mean, it looks nice. I wonder over the years, because that that corrugated tin can get a bit rusty and you do kind of need to replace it every few years. But I mean, it lasts a while. Yeah, it's nice. Is that tree growing up through the tin roof? Yeah, it looks like it is. They've literally put the roof around the tree, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but it's hard to find somewhere in Kigali that doesn't have a nice view. And also, cameras never do it justice. You know, when you're standing there looking at it, it's probably a 10. But because cameras, they flatten everything, so you don't get the depth perception. So yeah, it's a very nice view.
Comments. Because we can see the views right here. It's not the best, but we try to make it the
Oh,
best.
it's really nice.
So we got
What
the.
is this area of Kigali?
This is Gachurio.
Gachurio.
Gachurio. Me in
Gachiriro.
America, I say Gachurio, but in Rwanda way, they say Gachurio. Side right here, it's called Kinyinya. It's in Kigali, small town. This area right here, it's downtown. You can see downtown all the way from here. And that area over there, that's Gisozi. So, yeah, this is the back porch. See the views and stuff. If
Gisozi is where the genocide memorial is in Kigali.
you feel stressed out or something like that, just come out, and you can get fresh air, and it'll cool you off.
I was hoping he was going to talk a bit more about kind of the sort of challenges and the fun parts of running a restaurant, because I'm curious from a professional side what it's like to run the restaurant, but this is kind of more an advertisement, which nothing wrong with that, but I'd love to hear a bit more about kind of, you know, the actual experience from a business side.
Heroes being in the countryside.
Exactly.
Anything
But
to say.
global, I don't know if y'all been in other African countries. It might have a lot of mosquitoes, but you probably know the routine already. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. So
Yeah, it's true. I mean, everywhere's got mosquitoes. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't hear what she's saying.
And the restaurant.
Hold on. Let's see if we put the subtitles on. We can probably hear what she's saying.
And the restaurant.
Oh yeah, subtitles help. Have to skip over this because we've got copyright music playing in the bar. I can't hear him either. I wonder if it's because the mic's plugged in and it's still linked to the mic or something, but it's not picking up vocals at all. Let's put the subtitles back on.
But where did you come from? From the States? But your accent sounds like you were in America.
I can't hear his accent, so I can't tell you.
Before that, you were
It's one of these things, like, to keep asking somebody where they're from. People aren't always so forthcoming. Partly people aren't always so forthcoming because there's a bit more reserve, but also, like, the language can be difficult to explain. But yeah, it's sort of, asking specifics about people's lives. You know, he seems comfortable, so Yeah, even the subtitles are not picking up what he's saying. He said South Sudan, but the subtitles can't pick it up. It's really hard to hear.
And how do you like Rwanda? What are the pros and cons?
I'm sorry, I'm having to just show the subtitles here. I can't really play his voice because, like I said, there's copyright music in the background and you get a strike. Yeah, even the subtitles aren't picking him up. So he's basically saying it's beautiful, it's peaceful. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people do say, I hate to say it, it's kind of a little bit boring. Like there isn't a cinema, there isn't, you know, there's loads of bars and restaurants, but there isn't really much else to do. And, you know, for me, that's fine. You know, I am a village girl originally. I am, you know, I like a quiet town, but there just isn't a lot to do. So you often get that. And like he's saying, if you're trying to do business here, it's such a small community. It's a quiet town. It's a quiet city. It's a quiet city.
What business?
And sorry, again, I like that it's quiet in that, you know, it's relaxing to live here, but you do wish that there were, I don't know, just some things to do. Like, I don't know, maybe some better museums, because the museums are kind of, you know, to use a sort of a term mid, you know, they're not really very engaging. There's not a lot going on there, nothing to interact with. It's just sort of boards of text and pictures. And, you know, it's not what you kind of expect from sort of modern museums. And, you know, there's no kind of like arcades and, you know, things that you kind of, I don't know, I guess it's kind of difficult everywhere, but in big capital cities, you kind of expect there to be sort of stuff to go and do that isn't just bars and restaurants. And at the moment, we are mostly bars and restaurants, and that's fine. But there's a limit to how many times a week you want to go out and eat or drink without, you know, going to an event. Like when you go to the events board, there's a board called Events Bash, and it's all just sort of bars and music events. Like there's no kind of, I don't know, like, it's difficult to say, like exhibitions. I did see somebody, I got very excited because there was an advert for, I think it was Kigali automobile kind of exhibition. Like it sounded a bit like a collection of classic cars and things. I was like, oh, I want to go and see that, but it wasn't really clear if it was actually going ahead or not, or if they'd actually got any cars, or and then I think they were going to do it in the car park of Chic Building, which is like one of, I mean, no offense to Chic Building, but it's like one of the most unattractive places. Like you wouldn't want to go and hang out in the Chic Building car park for a day. You know, you'd want something like that on a nice sort of playing field or something. You know, we don't really have any parks or things like that. You know, there are parks, but again, it's like, it's hard to explain. If you come and spend, you know, a couple of months here, you'll kind of get the idea is that there just isn't a lot to do. And I think that's what people find. It's like, it's kind of, it's slow. It's Kigali is somewhere that you traditionally come to relax and just kind of chill for a bit before you go on to wherever you're going. But it's long term. There is not that much to kind of get involved in.
You're in business?
Yes.
And what do you do? Construction? You have a construction company?
Oh, that sounds good. I wonder if she's put his link. If she's put his link in the video, I'll leave it below because that sounds lovely. I've seen some amazing shipping container conversions. I think The guy who started Talking Through Art, so Peter, I think they've got an Airbnb made from a shipping container and it looks amazing. So yeah, but unfortunately shipping containers are kind of expensive as well. So like, I don't know, but yeah, shipping container homes would be cool.
Okay, so we're continuing conversation. Okay. So where do you ship it to other countries? You build it here or here? They use it in Rwanda?
I can't hear a word he's saying. Yeah, I think this is another thing. What he's saying is quite true because he's saying it's quite hard to bring in a new idea like shipping container homes. Because people in Rwanda are quite conservative in their tastes, and you do find this, like a lot of people come in and they say, oh, we can try something new, because they look around and say, oh well, Rwanda doesn't have this, so we'll do it. And then quite often these businesses kind of tend to fold, because it's hard to say, but Rwanda is such a conservative country in both kind of the way that people express themselves, but also in taste. There's kind of like this old joke that if somebody opens a shop selling tin sardines, that the next week there will be 5 more shops selling tin sardines. And it's kind of just this expression that, Rwandans know what they like and they're just going to do that. It's like there's very little sort of variance or diversity in kind of experience. I definitely think younger Rwandans are getting way more adventurous in that way. Oh, my nose, my poor nose. Itching so much. Yeah, I definitely think that younger Rwandans are getting way more adventurous. But you tend to find that there's a huge diversity in restaurants. Is the only kind of exemption I can think of, is that we have restaurants from all over the world, but then you have people here from all over the world. So, Korean community, British community, Italian community, and they're the ones that tend to bring these restaurants and often cater to those communities. Originally, it was more the expat communities went to these restaurants because, they're pricey compared to local restaurants, and so expats and especially aid workers were the ones who could afford to. I definitely think now you find far more Rwandans actually eating at these places as well, which is nice. But in terms of sort of business ideas and concepts, like somebody opened a craft brewery here, and a craft brewery is like this really standard idea in most countries in the world, but oh my goodness, what they went through just to explain the concept of a craft brewery and all the paperwork, because they didn't fit into what a standard brewery should be, and therefore it's impossible to do. And I had a friend who has a kind of like a bookshop, secondhand bookshop, and I think she kind of had a bit of a similar experience. It's like, what is this concept of a secondhand bookshop? Because we have so few things here. Like it's kind of trying to explain this concept that most countries in the world know about, and then kind of trying to get that going. And when they open, like the craft brewery, the bookshop, the minute they were open, people come in, they're doing great business, but it's really hard to kind of explain these concepts. Like, you could Google these concepts and see, oh right, this is really popular around the world, but it's like, because there hasn't been one here before, there's a lot of resistance to anything new. And then once you've battled to manage to get that business open, you've then got the marketing uphill struggle, because like I say, people are quite conservative. It's a very, very small marketplace here. Like, it's a very densely populated, highly populated country for its size, but that doesn't equate to people having expendable income. The number of people with expendable income that constitutes an actual active marketplace is very, very small. And has quite conservative traditional tastes. And so when people come in and say, oh, Rwanda hasn't got one of these, let's introduce it, often they find nobody's going to be buying. Nobody's kind of going to, come in and invest on that, because it's never been seen before. And in many countries, like I definitely think in Western culture, if you haven't seen something before, you want to go and see what it is. It's like, oh, I haven't seen that, I want one of those, oh, what a cool idea, I'm going to try this. But you find that in more traditional cultures, people see something new and they don't have that reaction of, oh, oh, this is interesting, this is new, they have a reaction of, oh no, we don't like that. I don't, oh no, that's not how it should be. That's not traditionally how it should be. Therefore, they back away from it a bit. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it can be a struggle. First of all, to get recognition for permits and licenses if you've never been seen before, if that type of business has never been seen before. And then to kind of convince the public that actually it's kind of fun and interesting, and to part with the very, very little amount of cash that they've got. So yeah, anyway, blah, blah.
So who is your client for these container homes? For the government, like to anybody?
I feel her questioning is quite, I mean, from an American perspective, those are totally normal questions to ask, but I feel like she's getting a bit, I don't know, she's pushing the subject a bit. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like if you kind of arranged with him to talk to him about his business, then that would come across more naturally. But I think she just kind of swung the camera around and said, "Hey, are you okay with this? Let me ask you intimate questions about your business," which is, it's fine. But I feel like, if you put me on the spot like that, I'd be like, so my friend did it to me the other day. But because I'm used to being in front of a camera, I think I ran with it. She's kind of just turned the camera. She said, "Oh, so how's business going?" I was like, da 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 da, because I'm used to that. Like, roll the camera, I can talk. But if you're not used to like having a camera in front of you and a mic on you, and somebody just turns up whilst you're relaxing in a bar and goes, "Hey, talk about your business and where you're from and what you're doing here," it's like, you need a bit of time to prepare.
So then what made you want to try Rwanda?
Yeah, that's a really common answer, actually, especially if you're from DRC. A lot of Congolese here. People come to Rwanda because it is safe, it's quiet, and like he said, raising a family. So you often find that people come here with a new family, or they're coming here to start a family, and you find a lot of expats as well. It's a brilliant place to raise very, very young children because it's very calm, it's very safe. If you go out to restaurants, the staff will always entertain the kids, will always look after the kids. It's an easy place to have very young children. But then what you tend to find, especially with expats, is as their kids get a bit older, so they're coming up to sort of teenage years, that's when they tend to leave because, like I said, there isn't much to do for tweens and teens. It's like they're just, there's not a lot of stuff out there. Like, I don't know what you want to do, but I don't know. Karting or motocross, or I don't know, like ice skating, or sort of kids discos, or the museums, or the cinema or the theatre or the arts. There's just not a lot for young people to actually get involved in and do. And I do know, young people, especially foreign young people, and that's their biggest thing, is they just stay at home, they're on the games all the time because there just isn't a lot to go out and do. Like I said, other than bars, and there are a lot of bars. Like there's a bar, I shouldn't complain, I run a bar, but it's like every other street there's about 4 or 5 bars. And so I think kids get into like alcohol a lot just out of boredom, especially when you're going out into the villages and up into kind of like the towns outside Kigali as well. Like, what do you do there if you're a young person other than go to the bar if you've got any money? It's like, yeah, I don't know. So I think, for young kids, it's really good because all the restaurants are very family friendly. There's places like Nature Kigali that have children's entertainment for young kids. But then, as people get a bit older, it gets a bit more difficult.
So you brought your family here? Okay. So would you say Rwanda is best for families?
Yeah. Retirement, yes, but healthcare could be problematic. You can get a retirement visa here. You can just rock up and say, "Hey, I've got a pension, I get this amount of money," and you can get a retirement visa. My only concern, especially with aging, is that the healthcare is at a certain level. And if you are having like long-term chronic illness or emergency or something that needs sort of end of life care, that kind of thing, like in some respects it's a lot better. So if you're coming from somewhere like America, no contest, you can afford medication here in a way that I think Americans haven't been able to for generations. But at the same point, that also relies on availability, and sometimes we have shortages here, like malaria medication. Like malaria is rampant across sub-Saharan Africa, and yet still sometimes we have complete shortages of malaria medication. When I first ever had malaria, I had to go to 4 or 5 different pharmacies to try and get the malaria medication because everybody had run out. So you're facing that. And also, I won't repeat them here, but there are stories of going to, very well equipped clinics here, and the level of care and the level of communication is very, very, very different to what you would expect in sort of a slightly more developed country, which is fine if you're healthy and you've got a minor health concern or minor issues. I've ended up in hospital a couple of times. I've been really well taken care of. But if it was something more serious than that, I think you'd be looking to at least have a health plan that could allow you to leave the country looking for medical assistance. It would just be my one concern with retirement, and especially when you're older and when you're really sick, that's the point at which you can't always get to the airport. You can't always just book yourself a flight. You can't always go in search of other options.
So it's mostly for family that you made that decision.
She does keep asking him the same questions over and over again. You're not going to get a different response. He's given you his response.
Okay, but do you still do business in those countries that you were in, or you left that and only focus on Rwanda?
Yeah, a lot of people live in Rwanda and do business in Uganda, just because it's a bigger marketplace and the availability of things is so much more in Uganda or Kenya. But yeah, it's calm here, it's peaceful here, like you said, for families, but a lot of people live here but do business elsewhere.
Okay, thank you for talking to me and giving insight. I want to profile different people who live in Rwanda and what they're doing and what they like about it, what they don't like about it. So would you
I think it's often, if you want to do that, it's a good idea just to give people a minute to think about it before you turn the camera on. Like, you meet somebody, you have a conversation, you get to know them, and then you say, are there things you like? Would you mind if I asked you about that on camera? Just because, like I say, when somebody just puts a camera at you, you're like, ugh! It's like, and also he doesn't know why you're asking. Often people aren't as free with just general conversation here. So you kind of, you don't know who this person is, why they're filming, where it's going to be shown, who's going to see it, what kind of questions, so in people's minds here, they're always wondering that sometimes, especially in Rwanda, is people are very reticent to go on camera to talk about things unless they know exactly why they're being asked it, who you are, why you're filming it, and where you're going to show it. So if you talk to people and get to know them a bit first, and then you explain what you're doing and give people a minute to think about their answer, you're going to get much better answers, because there's probably more he wants to say about, challenges, or more he wants to say about the benefits of living here, but you can't always think that fast, especially in a second language, to express it well, unless you've had a minute to think about it.
advise people to try to come here, either to visit or to live? Or, yeah? It depends on the person.
Yeah, again, he's kind of like a bit of a hedged answer there, because he doesn't know why you're asking. It's like, well, what kind of people are you talking about here? Just like anybody, or business people, or so yeah. Yeah, but it was an interesting video. I was really, really hoping it would be more about this guy talking a bit more about, what it's like running a business and kind of any challenges or benefits he's kind of found from opening a hotel here, and what trade has been like. And because for me, that would have been an interesting one.
For everyone. Not every country's for everyone. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that was interesting. He looks like he's got a really nice hotel restaurant there. Very, very envious of the amount of space and the car parking. Really envious of the car parking. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, our type of style of restaurant is very, very different. Mine is much smaller and a much older building as well. So, yeah, but interesting stuff. And yeah, okay. Not the reaction video I thought it was going to be, but still very interesting one. See you in the next one.